The average senior wears less than 20% of their clothes, yet closets stay stuffed with pieces that weigh on the heart more than they flatter the body. And the clutter? It doesn't just take space, it quietly chips away at your confidence. Think about how your day begins. You open your closet, hoping for clarity, but instead you face rails of clothing that no longer fit your body or your life. You see jackets tied to a career long finished, dresses saved for occasions that never come, shoes that pinch your joints but still sit there because of what they once meant. Instead of lifting you up, your closet becomes a daily reminder of change, of aging, of chapters that no longer serve you. That's not a healthy way to start the morning. What many don't realize is that this kind of clutter doesn't just block physical space, it seeps into emotional space. It fuels frustration, lowers energy, and makes it harder to feel good in your own skin. But there is hope, and it begins with a shift in perspective. Decluttering your wardrobe isn't about erasing your past or giving away your memories. It's about curating a present that reflects the confident, capable person you are today. Imagine a closet where every single hanger holds something you love to wear, where the colors lift your mood, where comfort meets dignity, and where the simple act of getting dressed becomes a source of joy instead of stress. That transformation is possible at any age, and it starts with small, deliberate choices. Before we go further, hype this video, like, and subscribe. Every hype lifts seniors' voices on YouTube's leaderboard so more people over 60 can discover this message. Elowen Margrave, 67, a retired choir director from Kentucky, had always been known for her vibrant presence on stage, her voice carrying through churches and concert halls with warmth and power. But behind that public strength was a private struggle. Every morning began in front of a closet that left her drained before the day even started. Hangers were packed so tightly she could barely slide one to the side. Dresses that once dazzled during performances still hung there, though the events they belonged to had long since passed. Shoes that once carried her confidently across choir rises now pinched her toes and strained her balance, yet they lingered on the shelves. Scarves gifted by students, blouses bought during trips with friends, and jackets tied to milestones in her life formed layers of fabric that felt more like a museum than a wardrobe. Each piece was tied to a memory, but few served her present life. She realized that her closet wasn't just full. It was quietly stealing her mornings. Instead of joy, she felt hesitation. Instead of excitement, she felt weighed down. For Elowen, the clutter wasn't simply clothing. It was a silent reminder of years gone by, of roles she no longer filled, and of a body that had changed with time. And yet she held on, because each garment seemed to carry a story she was afraid to release. That tug-of-war between memory and reality created an invisible heaviness. Seniors like Elowen often find themselves surrounded by items that reflect the past more than the present, and it becomes harder to see who they are today when closets are filled with reminders of yesterday. It took honesty and courage for her to admit that these pieces were no longer saving her. She began to ask herself what she truly needed now, not as the quiet director she once was, but as the confident, capable woman she was becoming. Have you ever felt that your closet reflects your past more than your present? Share your experience in the comments. Hack 1. The Forgotten Fabric Rule. Elowen learned something stylists often whisper to their clients. Fabrics age much faster than styles. A cut or design may stay timeless, but the fabric tells the truth about whether a piece belongs in your life today. She began one quiet afternoon by touching every single garment. At first, it felt strange, almost too simple, but soon the difference was undeniable. Fabrics that had once been smooth now sagged and stretched beyond repair. Sweaters that felt soft in her 30s were now rough against her skin, and blouses that once flowed gracefully had become stiff and unyielding. For someone over 60, comfort isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Aging skin becomes more sensitive, joints respond differently to weighty or heavy fabrics, and what once felt elegant can now feel exhausting to wear. She realized that many of the items taking up her space weren't just unworn. They actively worked against her comfort and confidence. By focusing on the feel of fabric instead of style, she freed herself from guilt. Releasing those scratchy cardigans and sagging slacks wasn't about saying goodbye to memories. It was about saying yes to mornings that began without irritation. Suddenly, her closet started to feel softer, lighter, more inviting. It was no longer about whether something was still in fashion, but whether it cared for her body the way she deserved today. This shift brought Elowen unexpected peace. Each piece she chose to keep felt like a gentle embrace rather than a heavy reminder of years past. She found herself smiling as she hung back only those garments that breathed with her, not against her. Her mornings became simpler because she no longer had to fight with clothes that felt wrong before the day even began. Have you ever run your hand across your closet and noticed how many fabrics no longer comfort you? Sometimes the quickest way to reclaim space and confidence is to start not with how a garment looks, but with how it feels. And once Elowen made that discovery, the weight she shed was more emotional than physical. But the next hack is even more revealing. It shows you in seconds which clothes truly don't belong. Hack 2. The Mirror Confidence Test. When Elowen moved past the fabrics, she faced a deeper challenge, deciding which clothes still carried her confidence. That's when she discovered what stylists call the Mirror Confidence Test. Instead of waiting for a special occasion or relying on vague intentions like "I'll wear this someday," she stood in front of a mirror each morning for one full week and held herself to a simple, honest question. Would I wear this to meet an old friend today? There was no middle ground, no excuses. If the thought of wearing a blouse, skirt, or jacket to reconnect with someone dear to her made her hesitate, it didn't deserve space in her closet. This test was powerful because it pushed her to think beyond function and into feeling. Clothes are more than fabric. They reflect how we see ourselves and how we want others to see us. Seniors often keep outfits tied to old versions of themselves: the career professional, the new retiree, the parent attending school events. But when Elowen looked at some of her clothes in the mirror, she didn't see herself anymore. She saw someone she used to be. That realization was hard, but it was also freeing. Each morning became a moment of truth. Some pieces made her smile instantly. They reminded her of her warmth, her strength, and her elegance. Others made her want to quickly slip them back onto the hanger. Those were the items that had to go. By the end of the week, her closet had shifted dramatically. It no longer overflowed with clothing she tolerated. It held only pieces that made her feel proud and at ease. The mirror didn't lie, and neither did her heart. The beauty of this hack is its simplicity. You don't need fancy rules or long checklists, just a mirror and an honest question. Elowen found that what survived this test gave her a renewed sense of confidence every time she dressed. Would your wardrobe pass this mirror test? Tell us below. Hack 3. Seasonal Rotation with a Twist. Elowen had always followed the traditional approach of dividing her wardrobe by season. Sweaters for winter, sundresses for summer, coats tucked away when the weather warmed. But she soon realized that life after 60 doesn't follow the neat lines of a calendar. Her energy shifted more than the seasons did. There were days when arthritis made her joints ache, when she wanted nothing more than to feel wrapped in ease, and days when she was energized and ready to step out for lunch with friends or choir rehearsals. That's when she created a system that stylists rarely mention. Instead of storing by temperature, she rotated by energy. She curated 2 sections in her closet: comfort for tired days and confidence for social days. This small adjustment changed everything. On mornings when her body signaled for softness, she no longer battled guilt while staring at sequin tops or tailored skirts. She simply reached for her comfort section and dressed with dignity without strain. On the days when her spirit was higher, she moved to her confidence section, where brighter colors and well-fitted outfits made her feel strong and present. The shift gave her control, not just over space, but over how she greeted each day. This approach made her wardrobe practical yet empowering. Instead of shuffling through dozens of unsuitable options, she knew exactly where to look depending on her needs. It was less about climate and more about honoring the rhythm of aging, recognizing that seniors thrive when their closets serve their lifestyle, not just the season. For Elowen, this was the moment her closet stopped being a source of stress and became a partner in her daily well-being. But wait until you hear Hack 4. Stylists swear by it to instantly cut your closet in half without regret. Hack 4. The third piece rule. Stylists often remind their clients that true versatility comes from the third piece. Those finishing touches like jackets, scarves, or cardigans that elevate an outfit from simple to polished. Elowen had never thought of a wardrobe this way before. Her closet was filled with layers she bought on impulse. A shawl from a vacation, a blazer from a department store sale, a colorful scarf that looked beautiful in the shop but never left the hanger at home. She began to notice a pattern. Many of these pieces were one-hit wonders, items she wore once with a single outfit and never again. They consumed space while offering little return. When she applied the third piece rule, the change was immediate. The guideline was simple. If a layer or accessory could not complete at least 3 different outfits, it didn't earn its place. Elowen tested her jackets by pairing them with casual jeans, with skirts, and with dresses. If they worked across different looks, they stayed. If they only matched one outfit, they left. Scarves faced the same scrutiny. She realized some clashed with nearly everything she owned, while others transformed multiple ensembles with ease. This hack reshaped her wardrobe in a way she hadn't expected. Instead of feeling limited, she felt more creative. Each remaining third piece multiplied her options and gave her outfits freshness without excess. Her closet began to breathe, with space opening up where clutter once pressed in. The best part? She no longer felt weighed down by items that looked nice but didn't serve her. Every layer became purposeful, not decorative guilt. The third piece rule taught Elowen that decluttering isn't about deprivation. It's about multiplying possibilities with less. Her mornings grew lighter, her choices quicker, and her confidence stronger. Do you have accessories you've worn only once? Be honest in the comments. Hack 5. The shoe shelf reset. Elowen had always believed her shoes were simply accessories, the finishing touch to an outfit. But with time, she began to notice something deeper. Her shoes were shaping her confidence and even her independence. In her closet sat rows of heels she once wore to recitals, flats that had long since lost their support, and sandals that pinched her toes after just a few steps. Each pair told a story, but many of those stories no longer matched her life. When she looked honestly, she realized some of her shoes weren't just uncomfortable, they were quietly dangerous. They threatened her balance, strained her knees, and added hesitation to every stride. The shoe shelf reset began as a practical task but turned into a turning point. Elowen sat down with her collection and tried on every pair. Instead of asking if they looked pretty, she asked how her body felt in them. Did they support her arches? Did they steady her joints? Did they make her walk with ease instead of fear? Anything that caused even the slightest wobble was released. At first it was emotional. Saying goodbye to shoes she had once loved felt like closing chapters of her story. But as she let them go, she realized she was also letting go of worry. In their place, she kept and invested in pairs that gave both grace and safety. Supportive sneakers that didn't sacrifice style. Low-heeled boots that offered stability without bulk. Cushioned flats that carried her comfortably through errands and gatherings. The effect was immediate. Each time she stepped out, she moved with confidence rather than caution. Her stride felt sure, and her posture lifted. Stylists often say the wrong shoes can age you faster than wrinkles, not because of appearance but because of how they alter your movement. Elowen proved this true. Her shoe shelf reset didn't just free space. It gave her back a sense of freedom in every step. She no longer feared tripping, and instead she rediscovered the quiet joy of walking tall. Hack 6. One hanger, one story. Elowen reached a point where emotions clouded her judgment. She wanted a method that was simple, visual, and honest. That's when she tried the one hanger, one story trick. It was almost too straightforward. Every time she wore something, she flipped the hanger to face the opposite direction. At first, it seemed unnecessary, but she committed to it for months. Slowly, her closet began to tell the truth. Some hangers flipped quickly as she reached for her favorite cardigans or reliable blouses. Others stayed untouched, silently proving that those clothes were not part of her real life anymore. The beauty of this system was its honesty. No excuses, no promises of I might wear it someday. If a hanger stayed unturned season after season, It was evidence that the garment wasn't adding value. Elowen realized she was holding on to certain pieces not out of need, but out of guilt. Expensive dresses she never wore, gifts from friends that didn't suit her, or outfits tied to roles she no longer played. The untouched hangers revealed the gap between her current self and the version of her past she was reluctant to let go. When she finally let those pieces go, the relief was almost physical. Each hanger she cleared became a symbol of regained space and lighter mornings. What remained in her closet were items that owned their place, clothes she reached for again and again, garments that supported her present lifestyle rather than weighed her down. It wasn't just about decluttering, it was about aligning her wardrobe with who she truly was now. The hanger system gave Elowen a story she could see at a glance. Every flipped hanger represented confidence, while every untouched hanger represented burden. And in choosing to release the untouched, she chose herself. But Hack 7 will strike an emotional chord. It's how Elowen honored her memories without drowning in them. Hack 7. The Legacy Piece Box. When Elowen began letting go of the clothes that no longer served her, she reached the most delicate part of the process: what to do with the garments tied to her memories. These weren't just clothes. They were symbols of life chapters that had shaped her. There was a retirement gown she wore during her farewell concert, shimmering under the stage lights while her choir sang their final song for her. There was the tie her late husband had worn to their anniversary dinner, its fabric holding the echo of his laughter and the warmth of his hand and hairs. There were shawls gifted by friends no longer here, each one carrying the weight of companionship and love. To discard these items outright felt unthinkable, yet keeping them all meant her closet would never truly breathe. That's when Elowen embraced the Legacy Piece Box. She allowed herself one small, defined container to hold the garments that carried deep meaning but were no longer meant to be worn. The rule was clear: if it was precious enough to deserve space in this box, it stayed. If not, it was gently released. This limit gave her permission to honor her past without letting it overtake her present. Instead of shelves and hangers overflowing with sentiment, those stories were now contained in one intentional place. The impact was profound. Her closet shed its role as a museum of memories and reclaimed its purpose as a tool for daily living. At the same time, she didn't feel as if she had erased her history. On quiet evenings, she could open the box, touch the gown, run her fingers along the fabric of the tie, and allow the memories to surface without them haunting her every morning. It was a balance between remembrance and renewal, a way to carry love forward without being trapped by it. This box became more than storage. It was a boundary that allowed her to live fully in the present. By choosing a few legacy pieces, Elowen kept her stories alive while giving herself the freedom to step into each day lighter, freer, and more aligned with who she was becoming. Hack 8. The Camera Test. Elowen discovered one of the most surprising secrets stylists use with their clients: the camera test. Mirrors can be forgiving, influenced by lighting, angles, and even the way we tilt our head. But cameras never lie. So instead of relying only on her mirror, she took quick photos of herself in different outfits. At first, she felt self-conscious standing in front of her phone's camera, but soon the exercise became eye-opening. Pieces she once thought looked flattering in the mirror suddenly revealed their truth in photos. Some colors drained her complexion, making her look tired, while others instantly brightened her face. Certain cuts that seemed fine in passing appeared bulky or shapeless in pictures. It was a reality check that changed the way she saw her wardrobe. The photos showed her what others saw, and that clarity helped her make confident decisions. She realized that some of her safe outfits, clothes she often reached for because they felt easy, were actually undermining her confidence. Conversely, pieces she wore less often came alive on camera, reminding her that she still had clothes that made her feel radiant. Instead of guessing, the photos became undeniable evidence. They told her which items deserved space and which ones had overstayed their welcome. This act gave Elowen freedom from indecision. She no longer had to debate whether an outfit was flattering. She had the picture proof. It also reshaped her relationship with her clothes. By releasing what dulled her spirit, she curated a closet where every piece she kept made her look and feel her best. The camera test didn't just declutter her shelves, it decluttered her self-doubt. For seniors like Elowen, who want confidence without complication, this simple yet powerful tool ensures the wardrobe reflects the vibrancy of the present moment. Stylists rely on it because it works, and Elowen found it to be one of the most liberating steps of her journey. Hack 9. The Color Lift Rule. As Elowen's closet grew lighter, she stumbled upon an overlooked but powerful truth. Color often has more influence than style. For years she had held on to muted browns, faded grays, and dull beiges because they felt practical, safe, or age-appropriate. But when she looked at herself honestly, she noticed something unsettling. These shades seemed to drain the light from her face. They amplified fine lines, made her eyes appear tired, and left her feeling invisible instead of radiant. That's when she tried the color lift rule. Rather than asking whether an outfit was fashionable, she asked how its color made her feel and look. She began by pulling out every item in her closet and grouping them by shade. Standing in front of the mirror, she tried them on, but this time she paid attention not to the cut but to the energy of the color. A soft coral blouse made her skin glow. A lavender scarf seemed to brighten her eyes. A navy dress gave her both elegance and strength. Meanwhile, the khaki pants she had worn for years suddenly looked lifeless, and the beige cardigan that felt safe revealed itself as dull and aging. By releasing the tones that muted her glow, she immediately looked fresher, younger, and more confident without spending a single dollar on new clothes. This rule reshaped her wardrobe in ways she hadn't anticipated. Her closet became filled not with excess, but with energy, pieces that uplifted her spirit and reminded her of her vitality. Even her friends began to comment on how vibrant she looked, assuming she had changed her skincare routine or tried something new, when in reality all she had done was shift her colors. For seniors, color decluttering can be more powerful than style decluttering because it works with the natural shifts of aging skin and hair. Elowen proved that the right shades can turn a simple outfit into a statement of life and joy. What color makes you feel most alive? Drop it in the comments. Hack 10. The Future Self Closet. Elowen's journey through her wardrobe reached its most transformative stage when she began asking a single, powerful question. Would my 75-year-old self thank me for this? This filter became the anchor for every decision. It shifted her focus from clinging to the past toward preparing for a future filled with dignity, freedom, and ease. For years she had held on to clothes tied to roles she no longer played. The tailored suits from her working years, the sequin gowns from performances, the stiff shoes that once made her feel stylish but now threatened her balance. They represented who she had been, but not who she was becoming. When she imagined her 75-year-old self opening that closet, she knew the answer was clay. Her future self wouldn't thank her for keeping items that caused pain, guilt, or hesitation. She would thank her for creating a wardrobe that supported confidence, mobility, and joy. This shift was more than decluttering. It was a mindset change. Elowen began curating clothes that honored the life she wanted to live. Breathable fabrics that cared for her skin, colors that lifted her energy, and pieces that made dressing simple and stress-free. She realized that holding on to her past through clothing didn't honor her memories. It weighed her down. But choosing for her future gave her a sense of empowerment. Every cleared hanger became a promise to herself. Every item she kept a step toward ease. The future self-closet principle reminded her that aging with style isn't about resisting change. It's about embracing it with grace. When she looked at her reorganized wardrobe, she saw not loss, but possibility. She had edited out the versions of herself she had already lived and made space for the vibrant chapters still ahead. For seniors like Elowen, this guiding question ensures that every choice made today builds a tomorrow where dressing is not a burden but a daily act of confidence and self-respect. Elowen's mornings no longer feel heavy. What was once a closet crammed with the weight of decades is now a carefully curated space that feels like an ally instead of an enemy. She no longer approaches her wardrobe with hesitation or guilt. Each garment that remains has earned its place by supporting who she is today, not who she once was. The suits that reminded her of deadlines and long hours are gone, replaced with soft blouses that breathe comfort into her mornings. The sequin dresses that belonged to her years on stage have been retired to memory, making space for colors that lift her spirit as she steps out for lunch with friends or walk in the park. Her closet is no longer a museum of old seasons, but a gallery of her present self, lighter, freer, and true. Every outfit she chooses now fits her body, flatters her reflection, and fuels her confidence. That transformation reaches beyond fabric and hangers. It shows in the way she carries herself, in the ease with which she meets others, and in the quiet pride that has returned to her mornings. For Elowen, decluttering wasn't about losing things. It was about reclaiming herself, one hanger at a time. If Elowen's story inspired you, share one change you're ready to make in your own wardrobe today. Before you go, here's how to hype this video and support this channel. Step 1. On your YouTube app, scroll down and swipe left on the comment preview carousel until you see the hype button. Step 2. Tap hype. Step 3. Choose your points. Remember, smaller creators get a bonus boost. Step 4. Confirm, and you're done. You get 3 free hypes each week, and every hype pushes this video higher so more seniors can discover it. And if you hype often, you can even earn a Hype Star badge showing that you are one of the top supporters of this community. While you're at it, like this video, subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, and share it with someone who needs this freedom. Together, we can make sure that seniors everywhere step into each day with clarity, dignity, and confidence.